Hey everyone, it's Faisal Ali for All Things Mobile, and today I've got a quick review of the iPhone 4S. Now the iPhone 4S is very similar to the iPhone 4, therefore this is not a full-on review. This is just some of the differences that you should keep in mind if you're planning to purchase an iPhone 4S. So looking at the physical construction of the iPhone 4S, you can see that all the buttons, such as the volume up, volume down button, the vibrate, silent mode toggle, the home button down here, earpiece, camera, headset jack, and on off button, or rather standby button, they're all in the same position, although you will notice that the antenna design has changed slightly, and this is what Apple touts as fixing the antenna issues. So that's one thing, the antenna redesign. And that brings me to my next point, call quality. Call quality is fairly good on the iPhone 4S. You've got neutral sounding tones, nothing too spectacular, but I'm pleased to report no dropped calls. So that's one good positive, as well as you'll see that the micro SIM slot is in the same position as before. So the iPhone 4S, what's really new? Well, iOS 5 is what's really new. So when we unlock this phone, it looks like the iPhone 4, and in all aspects it's very similar, although there are some key differences that you'll notice, such as now with iOS 5 you've got the notification center, which pulls in all our notifications as well as pulling in weather and stock. So for weather, I can switch through to alternate views, which is my weekly weather, as well as switch over to what the weather is currently. Same thing with stocks. My stocks have just been scrolling there, just listing through the stocks, as well as tapping any of these applications or bringing into the actual app itself. So that's really kind of neat. That's nice because now notifications do not obtrude, as in before they would just pop up in the middle whenever you're doing anything, but now it doesn't happen. You could always just go to notification center, see your notifications, click them or tap them, and then go to that notification specifically. So that's a good thing. So iMessage. In the messages, you'll find a new feature of the iPhone 4S and iOS 5, so you can run this on your iPhone 4, would be iMessage. Now, this is a conversation I was having with one of my friends earlier, and it's happening through iMessage. So if you look at the last message here, it'll tell you it's delivered, and it'll let you know when they're typing, when it's delivered, etc. So another thing I want to bring to your attention with iMessage is how messages also send via text. So as you guys can see, at this period of time, something was up with his phone or with my end, and it sent us a text message, but it included in the overall list of messages we sent. So we don't actually have to back out, find the text messages, and go from there. It's all in one unified place, which is really nice. So the iMessage works pretty well. It's not a BBM killer really. It's more of just an SMS replacement, so you can message other people with other devices that have iMessage, such as iPhone 4, iPhone 4S, the iPad, the iPod Touches. The later generations have it as well. So all in all, it's decent enough to use as an SMS replacement. Plus it's free SMS, so there's that to keep in mind as well. You'll also notice a new app right here. Now this is called the Reminders application, and basically you just add a reminder. So I've added in a reminder, test tomorrow. Do I really have a test tomorrow? Not really, but you can add a reminder. So test tomorrow, yes, let's just say yes, return, and we just hit done, and then it will show you your reminders. So you can also set this to remind you at a specific location. or on a specific day, which is pretty nice. So I like this. It's a new feature or application rather that's been added to iOS 5, so that's nice. The actual phone display has not changed. It's the same 326 pixel per inch density, so it's a 3.5 inch screen this way, and you guys can see that. Oh, this won't do it justice, but you know, this display is very sharp and very vivid. It's a very high quality display. Another change worth noting is the camera. It actually got upgraded. This is an 8 megapixel camera now, as well as it records in 1080p HD. So plus it's got face detection. So if we've got the box of the iPhone 4S here, we will go into the camera application, and I'll show you guys a quick rundown. So you've got the options. You can turn on the grid, HDR. You can turn on and off the flash. Let's do auto flash. You guys can switch. You guys can see me there. And I'm going to switch back to the camera. Whoops, switch back. And we're going to just take a quick photo. So we tap the focus. And then it'll stop that shot. As well as you can now swipe in this direction, right to left, I mean left to right. Yes, left to right. And you can see the photo. The images that do come out of this are very crisp, and it's practically going to replace the simple point and shoot camera. As well as this also records in 1080p HD at 30 frames per second, so it's quite smooth. So that's one thing I'm also impressed at. But other than that, there aren't very many changes. The processor did change. As you guys know, this is now running a dual core processor at 1 gigahertz, but it's actually underclocked to around 800 megahertz as a battery saving measure. So that's that to keep in mind. But applications do launch a lot faster. So if I'm just gonna check the settings app, see what notification in there, I can quickly do that. And I can see I have a software update, and I can see the details of the update. So there's that. And switching in between applications is very quick. It's very seamless. I can go to reminders, I can go to the weather, I can go to settings, and you guys can see that it's very, very responsive, very quick. So in the processor department, definitely an improvement. Definitely. I'm hard pressed to say that is this good enough for an iPhone 4 owner to upgrade to the 4S. I would have to say not really. There's not much enticement. But if you're using an original iPhone or an iPhone 3G or even 3GS, then you may want to take a look at this, although you may not want to get into a contract. So it's like a catch-22 there. The last feature I want to demonstrate to you guys is Siri, as well as text input with Siri. So with Siri, you basically just press and hold, and you can ask a question. So let's ask it to set a reminder to remind us to record a iPhone 4S demo. Set reminder.
Okay, just tell me what you want to be reminded about.
Set reminder to record video about the iPhone 4S.
When would you like me to remind you?
At 11 a.m.
Here's your reminder for tomorrow at 11 a.m.
And you guys can see that it just...
Shall I create it?
Yes. And you guys can see...
Okay, I'll remind you.
Okay, and you guys can see that it pulls up the reminder, and this goes into the reminders app, so kind of neat. Another thing I want to show you guys, text input with Siri. I'm actually going to go to the notes application. So I spent $12 on lunch. That's also a note I made with Siri. Now you can press this. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. And that is with 100% accuracy. So Siri's a novelty feature really, but if it had more uses, like if I could call up Siri by pressing the home button and saying turn on Wi-Fi, or if I could say navigate to a certain like web page, for example, then yes, that would be a most welcome feature, and definitely I'd be using Siri more after that. Although right now it has some uses, it's not enough just to say yes, you should get the 4S because it has Siri. So I want to quickly show you guys the browser. Let's go to atmobile.ca, where we'll just, and you guys can see I'm over Wi-Fi right now, so it does load up fairly quickly. And the last thing I want to show you guys is actually the reader function. So you guys can see in the new Safari browser that you have a button that says reader. Well, when we press that button, it basically pulls up the web page in easy to view format. And from here I can even click the links. So all the links are active, and that also works. You've got some better support for embedded media as well, so I could go ahead and actually start playing that if I wanted to. Again, multiple tabs, limit is 8 as usual. So browser, some improvements, loads faster. That's always good to hear in a mobile product. So overall, the iPhone 4S, it's a lot of the same, but it's got some new. Would I recommend it to a person who's got the iPhone 4? I'd be very hard pressed to, unless they do want to spend the full amount for it without a contract, because to get into a 2-year contract or a 3-year, which is standard in Canada, it wouldn't be worth it for the iPhone 4S, because there's bound to be another iPhone coming out, you know, within the time frame of a year. So, and according to what we've been hearing, it would probably be a radical redesign. So I wouldn't recommend it for a person who's already got the iPhone 4. The iPhone, how about if they've got an iPhone, original iPhone 3G or 3GS? Yes, I would actually recommend this to them if they enjoy the iOS platform. The great thing about iOS is it's got a lot of applications. It's got a pretty good ecosystem with iTunes going on for the media, so you're never gonna feel left out with the media portion. And all in all, it's a relatively stable system. It's a very consistent user experience. So if someone's used an iPhone 3G, then a 3GS, then a 4, and if they decide to get the 4S, for example, yeah, it's a very consistent user experience. They know what to expect, and yeah, it's a good upgrade for people on any iPhone besides the 4, because I find that these devices, the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 4S, are very similar. So I'm hard pressed to recommend that to anybody. And the last thing I actually want to talk about again, guys, is battery life. Battery life on this phone has not been terrific, despite that the actual physical battery has gotten a little bit bigger. The battery is actually bigger now, but the battery life hasn't improved. So that's one thing to keep in note of. Battery life isn't the greatest on a smartphone, although it's pretty decent. You could most likely get through an 8-hour day, regular usage. You got the mail running in the background. You might have a couple phone calls coming in through for an hour or 2 hours or however long, but definitely battery life is not the greatest on this device. And for people who are used to great battery life on their phones, as in 2 or more days of usage, and yes, that is possible on a modern day smartphone, they will be very disappointed with the iPhone 4S battery life. It really does not shine here, although I do commend it for being a great smartphone. It is a great smartphone by all regards. It's got a dual core processor, 1 GHz, underclocked to about 800 MHz. You've got the 8 megapixel camera, plus LED flash and HD video recording at 1080p 30 frames per second, so that's very smooth. As well as you've got the other goodies that come with iOS, such as the Apple App Store, which has a very, very wide selection, as you guys know. And yeah, so that's the only knock I really have about this device, is really the ability for it to have the ability that doesn't go the entire day. For example, you may find your battery running low near the end of the day, or you might find your phone actually ran out of battery power during the day, so which is never a good thing. But in all regards, pretty decent call quality. Specs have been improved slightly. Is it worth the upgrade for the 4 owners of the iPhone 4? No, it's not worth upgrading to a 4S. But if you're an iPhone 3G owner, or original iPhone, or iPhone 3GS, the iPhone 4S is probably the iPhone for you at this moment. You will not be disappointed as an upgrade. So, I'm FaZe Ellie for All Things Mobile. I'll see you guys next video.